Hello, everybody. My name is Storm Luna, and I'd like to I'd like to wish you a happy Sunday. And today I am going to be doing a review of the episode Hearthsbreakers, which was the 20th episode in the fifth season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And today I'm going to be having a special guest joining me. She won't be joining me quite yet, but she will before too long. All right, the other episode starts with Pinky and Applejack visiting Twilight and Spike before they head off to Pinky's rock farm for the holiday. And of course, Spike and Twilight are getting ready for their holiday. And they thinking about them is they do things differently than most every pony else. They do their gifts exchange on Hearthswarming Eve instead of on Hearthswarming Day. The reason for that being is during their first Hearthswarming together, Spike couldn't wait all night for his gifts. So since then, him and Twilight have done their gift exchange the night before. And, well, Spike wants his present, and of course, Twilight lets him have it. And good old Twilight form, it's a book. You can tell Spike isn't exactly thrilled about that. But, hey, we all know how Twilight is. With her, it's going to be a book. And anyway, then we move on to the train ride out to the rock farm, where Applejack is telling Apple Bloom that Hearthswarming is about more than just presents and candy. Of course, most kids tend to think that the big holiday is about all of that. And then during the train ride, Applejack tells about the Hearthswarming story about the Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns not liking each other, and then having to join forces together to defeat the Wendigos, and then about the whole flag raising thing. Okay, now this is something that'd probably be saved better for a different episode, but one thing that makes you wonder about that Hearthswarming flag. How does it have Celestia and Luna on it if they didn't even know about those two back when the tribes finally united? Well, hey, it's just something they made in the show, so who really knows as far as that goes? And then, of course, their families are getting together because Pinky thinks her and Applejack might be related. And of course, we all know that comes from the Pinky Apple Pie episode, where Pinky finds that genealogy scroll. But then again, that will have to be left for that episode when I finally decide to do it. And thing is, one thing they do discover is that there are some things they do the same, like exchanging their gifts on Hearthswarming Day. They have their dolls, as some might put it. They also have their traditional Hearthswarming Eve dinner. And then, okay, once they get to the out to the train station, Maud meets them, and when the families meet for the first time, you can tell that the apples and the pies aren't exactly alike. It is clearly obvious when you get there that the pie family is supposed to be Amish. Well, supposed to be, but if they were true Amish, they wouldn't have their farm decorated at all. But anyway, when they first meet, Granny Smith, she doesn't really get the parents' name, so she just says she's going to call Igneous Rock Big Iggy, Cloudy Quartz, Big Mama Q, which is kind of funny. It makes Granny Smith, to some they may say, oh, she's different, but personally, I think I like Granny Smith in that way. And then, of course, the other family members meet, and of course, Limestone. She is very protective of Holder's Boulder. And yeah, she's a bit grumpy. And here is the guest of honor, Limestone. Hey, everyone. Okay, Limestone. I'll tell you more about Limestone later on. But anyway, she will be back later. And okay, after they meet, it's going to be time for dinner pretty soon. Of course, the apples are expecting like hot cinnamon rolls, pot pie, 7-layer bean dip. The typical thing that most equestrians eat. But when they get down to eat supper there in the dining room, they have rock soup. There's one thing you've learned about in this episode: the pie family can eat rocks, which is kind of odd, but it's something that's particular to their family. And of course, Applejack, she can't eat the rocks, And of course, also her whole family's kind of like, whoa, what is this? We weren't expecting this. But, and of course, one of my favorite whole images, one of my favorite moments from that whole episode is when they're showing the Pie family and Limestone has that sadistic smile on her face. Yeah, it's the one that's in the thumbnail for this episode. But yeah, that was kind of like, oh, Limestone, Limestone, you are so awesome. And then after that, they discover that they don't have traditional cloth Hearthsbreakers dolls. They go out there to the quarry and make their own ones out of rock. Well, what is interesting is that the Pie family can seem to make their dolls with absolutely no problems. Must be another Pie family thing, because the apples, they can't make them. And with Applejack, she's able to break the rock, but it's some weird shaped thing that looks like it has a frowny face on it. And of course, Pinky is all like, Applejack asks about the cloth dolls, and Pinky's like, oh, you're just a frown factory because you got a weird looking rock. Well, hey, it's something totally different. I'll admit, I'd probably be in the same mindset as Applejack. Like, although I'd probably be more like, whoa, what is this? We have to make them out of rocks. The rest of the family can't even break their rocks. But anyway, then, oh, geez, sorry about this. I'm trying to read my notes here. Yes, I have to have notes, so sorry about that. And of course, then next comes when they decide who is going to raise the equestrian flag. Well, raise it the way they would. They wind up having to find a rock that Limestone had hit earlier that day. Although it's kind of strange, which, of course, those of you who have watched the episode know that it's not really a real rock. But anyway, the Pinky pairs the two families into teams. One team is Marble and Big Mac. Another team is Maud and Apple Bloom. Then her and AG are going to be a family. Then, of course, Claudia Quartz, Igneous Rock, and Granny Smith are going to be one. That is where Granny learns that Claudia Quartz and Igneous Rock were chosen by the pairing stone, which is another very old-fashioned thing that probably most equestrians probably have no idea what in the world is. But anyway, she seems kind of interested in it. It's something different. Yeah, it's not their culture, but she doesn't judge, which is good for Granny Smith there. And then all of a sudden, Applejack's starting to see, maybe we're not related. Our families aren't exactly that much alike. As also, then they hide the presents, which is something that isn't normal for most equestrians. And then ultimately, okay, where am I here? Okay, then after ultimately, Pinky's the one that finds this picture of a rock, which is what Limestone hid, and then that determines who really gets to raise the flag. And of course, Granny Smith. Wait, no, where am I here? Okay, Applejack says that they've never had a real Hearthswarming, which is kind of a matter of, okay, well, they have in their Hearthswarmings, just not ones that you're used to. So what she does is, how she does it, I don't know, but hey, it's a cartoon, so anything's possible. She goes out and decorates the farm in modern equestrian Hearthswarming decorations. Naturally, this does not sit well with Pinky's family, and even her own family's like, what did you do, Applejack? You shouldn't have done this. Well, Apple Bloom seemed to support it at first, but Granny Smith and Big Mac, they weren't exactly thrilled with what Applejack did either. Then, of course, Limestone, understandably, is mad because, well, it's going to take quite a while for her to get rid of that stuff. And then, worst things worst, the flagpole that Applejack had planted in the ground for Marble to raise the flag was planted in a fault line. So, of course, and that causes Holder's boulder to fall down into the quarry. And yeah, the family wasn't happy, but Limestone, another reason why she's my favorite, she was mad. Very mad. And then ultimately she had asked the apples to leave because they were trying to force their ways into their family. And it's kind of like, yeah, I can understand why Limestone would be mad. They're trying to force their ways into our lives. And then, of course, once they do leave on the train ride back to Sweet Apple Acres, Granny Smith tells Applejack why Holder's Boulder is so important to them. And then all of a sudden, she gets it. She realizes, okay, you know, these are their traditions. I was so focused on why they were doing it, for focused on what they were doing. They didn't know why they were doing it, which is something very special for them. And then actually they return, and then Applejack explains herself, and ultimately then they help um, the Pie family lift Holder's Boulder out of the quarry and get it put back into place. Then they have a mixed celebration with their rock dolls and also Limestone serving some cinnamon rolls. And then, of course, my favorite part, which isn't the first time that Maud's done this, but she has these hearthwarming carols. They're all about rocks. And anyway, oh, that's the end of this review. But now, more about our special guest of honor. Okay, Limestone is a pony I had commissioned from Ponies by Rubio Wolf. I think it was, was it 2015, 2016? I don't remember. But the reason I have her with me is because this episode is the reason why I commissioned her. She is my favorite of the Pie sisters, obviously, which is why I had her commissioned. And anyway, yeah, this is why I had Limestone made. I think it was it 2016? I don't exactly remember. Okay, I'm repeating myself here. And anyway, if you like ponies, like plushies, check out Ponies by Rubio Wolf and commission them to her. She does a very good job. Excellent job, actually. She's made with minky fabric, which is the best fabric from what I understand anyway. But anyway, all of you have a good Sunday, and I will see you again on Wednesday. Not sure which episode I'll do, but you all have a good one. Bye.